Good day. This is the 17th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Please continue to like, share, and comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Now to the Sunday newspapers. The Sunday Observer has one of those stories that restores faith in Jamaicans. That just gives you a good feeling. And yet, the story could have you counting the costs, because what belonged to Jamaica is now America's. This story features a young inner city boy, as the headline says. It's the inner city boy's delicious dilemma. Full spread on it. And the story by Romardo Lyons features a young Jamaican, 18-year-old Justin Paris, who grew up in Bowerbank, East Kingston. Let's just call that a changing community. He graduated from Kingston College and migrated to the US in 2020 with his parents and finished schooling at George Washington Carver High School for Health Sciences, where he was named a valedictorian this year. It's a sweet story about a Jamaican young man, young Mr. Paris, having a dilemma. Which of 40 colleges or so that have accepted him must he choose? And among those 40 colleges are 3 Ivy League universities. It's a story about parents and support people who guided and nurtured him. The story of the boy interested in becoming a neurosurgeon is a story of what we Jamaicans are capable of. Now, the same paper, though, features on page 3 the other reality of Jamaica. 4 murders, including that of a policeman in one parish, Westmoreland, in less than 24 hours. So that's continuing the tragedy of everyday life in Jamaica. Sad part of our story, which we must get over. The Observer's main story is a really important one. It says that the Maroons have finally said they are sorry for the role they played in capturing runaway enslaved people and returning them to the cruelty of the British slave owners. But, a dive into the story doesn't speak to the whole Maroon community. Various branches saying sorry. But the story is a must read. Now, the Sunday Gleaner has in-depth coverage of the injustice or the corrupt illegal acts by some justices of the peace. And there you see it, corrupt justices. And it speaks about a story that we have heard before of JPs taking money to sign documents or to provide recommendations for people they have never even seen. So the Gleaner's coverage starts with Tyrone Reed's page 1 expose, continuing with Corey Robinson relating his own experience at a JP for hire office in Kingston. Let's set it all out. And there is more coverage too of JPs in parishes in the West as well as in Clarendon and Manchester. It's all wall-to-wall coverage. And the Gleaner's opinion pages are also good, with Caroline Cooper and a different sort of column from Orville Taylor, Lessons from Rwanda, where he makes some interesting comparisons between this country and Rwanda. Now, the sports pages continue with excellent reporting of the usual fantastic achievements of young Jamaican athletes at CARIFTA. The Gleaner features Javon Blake, the middle distance runner, and high jumper Daniel Noble. Noble and Blake get medal party started, and it's a treasure trove of medals. And the Observer is as fulsome with its coverage of DeAndre Daly and Bowagi and Krume taking the 1-2 in the boys under 20. And then again, those girls again, the Super Twins, 1-2 in the 100 meters for girls. Now to Frankly Speaking. The Minister of Transport, Audley Shaw, keeps bringing up the possibility of train service, or more specifically, the resumption of passenger rail service again in Jamaica, because we know there's a cargo service for bauxite on a portion of the JRC tracks. And before Mr. Shaw, Bobby Montague used to do it too, and before him in the previous JLP administration, Mike Henry. Frankly speaking, a revived passenger rail service would not be a bad thing. The service was whittled down before it closed in 1992 completely. Frankly speaking, that was after government for years played politics and starved the JRC of the necessary fare increases it needed. Just dangling the possibility out there. Why do the ministers do this? Of course, there are some of us out here with a romantic attachment to the rail service. We long for the order of which it was a part. We know it would still offer a spectacular view of inside of Jamaica. And above and beyond all that, we do know, frankly speaking, a service for cargo and passengers would make a vast difference to daily life in Jamaica. But, frankly speaking, we also know of some of the obstacles, including the arrangements with the toll road builders not to have any rail running parallel to or close to those toll roads. And we also know of the strength of the trucking lobby. Of course, frankly speaking, rail service makes absolute sense to complement other modes of transport now and far into the future. For example, we know from transport and logistics experts, some of them from the UK years ago, that Jamaica would benefit greatly from a rail service as part of a bigger system of transportation. We have to accept that we don't have an efficient public transport system. Some would say no transport system at all, but don't let that detain us. A train link, for example, using fast, light rail from Portmore to Kingston could dovetail into a bus or road transfer from the rail centre downtown Kingston into halfway tree, New Kingston and Crossroads. Frankly speaking, it would be faster and cheaper than the present road network can ever manage, the cluttering Portmore Toll and Mandela Highway included. But, frankly speaking, to bring back the rail service, even on the old routes without massive upgrades, will still involve huge costs, which perhaps is why the engine has not left the station, despite all the wishes and wishful chatter about trains. A few days ago, I went to an old train station at Richmond near Highgate in St. Mary. Remember, the trains used to go to Richmond, then on to Anota Bay and Port Antonio on that eastern leg. Frankly speaking, Richmond as a town has suffered from the closure of that eastern leg of the service more than 4 decades ago. To look at the buildings closest to the station complex is to look back 100 years. The railway station building, the platforms and all are falling into ruin. Frankly speaking, most of it is nailed up and rotting. The elaborate water storage system still remains and serves people living nearby. Years ago, when the search was on for every piece of old iron or scrap metal, they dug up and moved away the tracks themselves. Frankly speaking, to me, that was almost criminal. Same has happened in other places too, and yet in others, people have been allowed to squat on Jamaica Railway Corporation's lands, including on the tracks themselves. Now, if Mr. Shaw knows what he's talking about, he should tell us of the plans with the likely investors for the restart of the service, or, frankly speaking, he should just stop talking about it. Now to crosstalk. This week, Desmond Richards takes on squatting that's been in the news. I'll have my say, but today, or frankly speaking, Jamaica podcast is already at the time limit. So my promise is that we will come back to this issue. We must. We'll be asking a lot of questions about the issues raised by Desmond Richards in his comments about this ever-widening, controversial matter of squatting.
So here we are again, squatting is in the news. This time it involves over 500 residents at Little Bay in Westmoreland who are on lands required for billion US resort development. From all indications, if this matter is not handled properly, it could end up messy, like many others before this one. Do we remember what happened at Foreshore Road and Industrial Terrace in the 60s, where thousands of squatters were bulldozed and removed from land required for the Tivoli development? How can we forget what happened at Flankers Mobay in March 1994? And in the 90s, sections of the Holland bamboo were set ablaze by people, black people protesting the use of land. Now, we expected nothing from our colonial masters, and we got nothing. But should our leaders do something to address this matter? Come on, man, we have had several decades to address the matter. So far, their attitude has been mostly hot and cold. You have official silence, official tolerance, then you have what I call encouragement, which all give the squatters a false sense of security. And in all cases, they end up being recklessly, brutally removed from the properties. It is time for us to initiate some serious land reform in Jamaica. We want land reform that will guarantee, sustain social and economic development for the black masses. That is not hard. That is not too much. And I am urging the leaders, let us start this Emancipation Day 2022. Let us initiate the plans. Let us put the programs in place that will guarantee serious land reform for the people. Remember, we have been waiting for this. We got no land. We worked 300 years on this land and we got nothing. It is time for us to get a little piece of land.
That's Desmond Richards. Now, Saturday was a historic day for Ocho Rios and nearby areas out to St. Anne's Bay, the St. Anne capital. It was the day, as one hotel manager put it, the day when Ocho Rios turned into a car park. The videos and pictures sent from the area overwhelmed in number any other location or event for the day. Ocho Rios town to St. Anne's Bay by a 2-lane road is 10 kilometers. It took some people 4 hours to do the distance Saturday afternoon into evening. 4 hours for 10 kilometers. Indeed, it was 2 hours for some for less than 1 kilometer between Drax Hall, the newly developing commercial area, and the western entrance to the Edward Seaga Highway. St. Anne, the North Coast in general really, is known as a getaway area for many on long weekends like the Easter. There were parties at Pearly Beach and at private beaches near Dunn's River. This is nothing new, but somehow it got away this time. There was apparently no police preparation for it. COVID-19 had made us forget what the holidays are like on the roads in St. Anne, and indiscipline was at its zenith. At times, there were 5 lanes on the 2-lane roadway. That's in one direction. You know, we can do better than this. It's not a sign that we have money to party, or that we have the freedom to party, or that we have cars to party, or that we can do as we like. It's not progress. It's the road to anarchy. That's it for this week. Thanks again for your support. And please keep those comments coming to this channel, Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. I'm particularly interested this week in your take on the rail service. Please continue to share. And again, if you haven't yet done so, please subscribe. Until then, I'm Franklin McKnight. Good day.